And we're all set to go for a Thursday. First winner of our Thirsty Thursday book giveaway, Tony Torres. We give away some books every Thursday. We're here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 12 noon. How's everybody doing today? Big shout out to the chat. Lot to get to. Crazy tape, crazy market. I'm going to pull my hair out, quite frankly. But it's all good. All good. Uh, we'll give away one or two more books. I'm actually going to give away volume two. I have one or two of those to give away. So if you haven't won a volume two, that'll be our next book. And I'll give one more volume three towards the end of the session. Let's get the business out of the way. Everybody that's here, especially those new folks, go to harmonictrader.com, become a basic member, register now, right there, email, please. And then go to the basic members page and sign up. Once you're signed up, go get access to the free trials on the software TradingView. That's the platform we're going to look at today. Send your username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. And then the other place to get help, those that have questions, this is just a reference here. Click on the Discord link, go access the Discord there, and ask around. If you have questions, basic stuff, how to get set up, or if you have a problem, check out Miss Stephanie in there or one of the moderators. Okay, enough. Let's get on Thursday. Let's jump right into crypto. Because this is the biggest thing right now, I think, of all immediate patterns, especially the larger markets, is Ethereum doing this type 1 move. It was, pretty impressive, very impressive, but we're now above target 1. We're going to have to go do the type 2 return, right? I think so. So let's take a look at that. Where's HSI? Where's crypto? Total crypto index starting to do some moves, which is what we were really hoping for on Monday. Now here's Ethereum on the daily. Look at this, sitting on a ledge of an overbought HSI reading, trying to give an inflection down. Those are all early signs, folks. So if you're in that reaction trade of that Gartley, it wasn't the most obvious of Gartley's, but we talked about it a few days ago, last week. I posted something on Twitter that said, look for the 1-2. So we got 1, and we're about to get triggered with HSI. If that can come out of the zone, take note. Amplified RSI is extremely overbought, trying to do an inflection down. Both of those have to basically agree. Nothing confirmed until they give you the inflection down. But nice one. Better than going straight down like tech stocks. Pretty precarious situation all across the board, but for crypto, for now, there's signs of life. And at least this fat pattern with the Gartley giving you the type 1 reaction is going to set up for the type 2. Now, does the type 2, whenever this triggers, does the type 2 come back to 1225? Does it go all the way to the hop? We'll deal with that maybe in a few weeks. Okay, but this could set up an end of the year type of scenario. We've been looking for something to give us a 2 of 2. We have a number of these patterns in crypto, especially smaller patterns after bigger patterns. That's Ethereum situation too. Remember, take a look at the Ethereum chart. We're sitting in a big bullish crab zone, folks. Excuse me. Well, it's a bat depending on your data feed. Here we go with the data feed thing again. Let me show you the crab. The software is kicking out a couple of things, but here you go. Bybit, that's fine. Big crab pattern. Small alternate bat bearish. Leads you back down into consolidation against the larger zone. Okay. We were thinking maybe 1,000 on this retest, but it did a little Gartley there, but still is just a reaction. Not to mention, take note, this downtrend, okay, off the top, still not violated, still work to do. So, real tricky spot. This could come back down, and I think it will, and do the retest maybe before the end of the year. All depends on the next HSI. What's going on? Big crew in the chat today. Great to see everybody. What's on? What's happening, Vlad? 10 pence, Justin. Miss Stephanie, how are you? Been a while, I know. Hey Jack, what's going on? Saying your first time here, welcome. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad we're getting I'm getting a lot of questions from new traders, new to Harmonic Patterns, new to harmonictrader.com and Harmonic Pattern Collection. So as I said when I started today's stream, go to our Discord and talk to Miss Stephanie. She's here right now, Stephanie HT. You can ask her a question, and people can, point you in the right direction. Off subject for a second here. So I've been thinking about trying to solve the question about the financial statements, and I think I there was a lot of things we did last year, crazy runs, crazy returns, and I've been going through Twitter and all of that, and I think the number one, probably the biggest win for me last year in the crypto craze was the Doge move. So, and I've made some statements before. They're pretty large, and I think I need to kind of, maybe to settle it once and for all. Just show people those collective trades on Doge. I'm trying to figure it out without giving like too much away. Like I'm gonna have to delete the account numbers and everything, but maybe do like a formal write-up of what happened, because that Doge scenario from last year, yeah, made $1 million on it. It was a huge move, and we were in front of that at fractions of a penny and all of that. But maybe that could kill a couple birds with one stone, and so that it puts the whole financial trading statement thing to rest. And just say, hey, go look at the couple hundred trades I made on Doge over those few months to get from like, I don't know what the initial outlay was. It was like 20 or 30 to 900 plus. Victoria says Boyle was the trade. Boyle is, Boyle wasn't in, that was a sleeper call, but thank you. And hey, Victoria, how are you? I've been thinking about it. It's that someone asked it yesterday, and I don't disagree with the argument. I just think what we're trying to do here and the amount of what we do with the trades and what we do live, period, is something that I think for maybe it's a new person thing, maybe it's a new trader thing, because I know there's a lot of garbage talk out there and people with a lot of crypto guys with million followers. So I'm thinking about that. I'll probably do some kind of write-up like that and then put it out there. I need some time though. Yeah, James took that ride. A lot of you took that ride on Doge. A lot of you took that ride with us on AMC before Wall Street Bets too. Listen, what are we doing with these markets? That's really what I want to figure out into the end of the year. Getting into the end of the month here. Halloween coming up. I know anybody that's got kids, it's a fun time, I guess. It is a fun time. And, but beyond this fun time, I think we're going to get into a more serious time of like between November, December, what's really going to happen into next year. Are we falling into a recession? You had the numbers today. Okay. Pretty strong. But the numbers are not the charts. And the charts, that's what we're doing here with the patterns. Actually, with all the patterns we've been looking at, I mean, there's amazing There's a number of amazing long-term setups that are hitting exactly today, yesterday, about to hit probably in the next week that we'll get into. But with the larger market, Ethereum with this type 2 Gartley shaping up, let's see what this is. Let's see if this is just like a 5-day thrust. And then we'll know with 1, 2 bearish candles. And then you come back down, retest the zone for the type 2. The whole definition of the 1-2 is you hit the terminal bar and structurally you hit target 1, looking for HSI to register. So as soon as HSI registers, which is about to, take a look. We've already done the inflection. It's turning exactly at the right spot. So we come back down for an XA retest in the next week. Don't be surprised. I don't know. We're going to wait for the confirmation. Meanwhile, Bitcoin, really impressive off the shark pattern. Remember the shark? Again, we talked about this, how it is a type 2. It's kind of delayed, non-confirmation. There was the 1 off the shark and came back, and we, spent a month going sideways. Now we finally decide to do a move out of the zone. So if it is a type 2, we should be reaching for target 2. By definition, I think at a minimum, we go back to target 1 at 21.7. That's Bitcoin. We have to maybe think about the last 4 months as a real fight. I mean, it's still a real fight. 20,000 is it's a real fight to be a floor. Is it a factor that there's no more sellers or the buyers are coming in? It's 2 ways to form a bottom. Usually sellers dry up and then buyers come in. But can the buyers defend? You would really want to see that selling exhaustion with Bitcoin. It's another 2 of 2. You have back-to-back patterns. You have a 2 of 2 on the small shark. Let me show the big. This is a big crab pattern with a big. There's the small shark popping across the board. There's the deep crab. So look, it's a really tough macro environment right now, but those are back-to-back harmonic patterns on a daily chart getting generated by the algos that is now 2 of 2. I mean, you have this small consolidation, then you form the pattern on the retest, and now that small pattern, this shark has completed the 1-2. We know that. So that makes all of this support incredibly significant. We would anticipate a target 2. Could that be something that gets it out of the zone? I mean, you're kind of back on here. The fact that you have a pattern that has held the support zone pretty clearly, and you're riding this deep crab. It's amazing. 4 months, remarkable. I mean, we're still technically off the deep crab. We're still looking for target 1. I'm not saying that's happening, but that's by definition, off of, right here. From this pattern, target 1, 38.72, 38.7. It seems ridiculous, but let's just watch the shark do its thing. Let's take it one step at a time, because you've got a couple of obvious, if this is going to come up and kind of retest some immediate resistance, you've got the target 2, and you have this 200-week moving average as well. I've been looking at that. There's a lot of long-term support there at the 200-week. And even if this whole section will eventually fail, 23.7, 24,000 on Bitcoin in a bearish test off of that shark. And we're just talking we're just talking within this range, nothing more. But that could be, okay, that could happen. I mean, right now, get it to 21, 22,000. There are a lot of back-to-back things like that, a number of them. Let me just show one or two. Sandbox, what's that doing? Because that's two of two. Back to back, bat pattern, everything down here, 75 cents. I mean, that's it. Um, Cardano, trying to do something off of its shark. It had a little shark down here. There's a big 886. It finally hit the 886 at 37. It formed this shark going down, but this shark would have to be it. It would have to be. I've been saying that under 39 would be a real flush. That's what that flush was, down to 33. But this hop level in the shark at 35, that's holding for now. You're still, even on the short term, you got to break these downtrends, and that's all these things are doing for right now. Even if short term, or you go, here's the all time on Cardano. So like that. Come on. Binance coin holding up in this 275, 300 range. Why? Because there's a pattern there. There's a, go to the daily. Yeah, there you go. This bat pattern. Coming up for the next test here. I said this 297. Did we hit that? No, almost. 293.40. Let's see this hit 297 and a quarter. 297.25 is structurally just a really big level for this to retest. And Binance coin, notice that it's hit the overbought on HSI, trying to come out. So you got to pay attention to a few things here. Is this going to trigger another bearish HSI? And then at least caps the rally. There's no follow through on this. Could be. I mean, that's how that's shaping up on the daily. You're 1 day away from that. And it would be a type 2. Yeah, that would be a type 2. So we're going to watch that. Really, a tricky spot. This market's been really difficult. Let me update, of course, Doge, which has done just another big run. Retested this big ABCD. That's the software kicking out the ABCD, but nothing but reactions here. I wouldn't expect this to be anything else other than another reaction. Maybe 8, yeah, it's at 8 cents now. Your last 4-hour pattern about 9.5. Even if this went up a little bit more, I wouldn't expect this to even crack 10. Maybe 875 with this former pattern. So Doge is still just like a one and gun. They were 5.5 cents just last week, 2 weeks ago. We talked about Solana just the other day, and look, if it's going to do anything off of this low, the $30 mark, I mentioned this, why this was so critical. You know, there's the big bat pattern, but you had just yet another potential trigger, check back, 2-bar confirmation, all of that. What that tells you is like 29 has to hold. We've been saying 30 area. And again, if we go sideways here for a few more days, it's another dud. It's just it's probably a 10-15% move and then roll back down. So it's, Solana not doing much. Didn't really get out of that zone. I find, here's one we've talked about, which seems to be doing a little progression every day, is synthetics. Where was it? Yeah, synthetics is it's this big deep crab down here, but I thought we had another pattern. But there was a bat pattern down here. One second. To come back to that, I thought synthetics had a little bat pattern that had just completed on the 4 hour, all of that around $2. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go back. I know we talked about that on Tuesday. Let me come back around on that one. One or two more on crypto spaces. Let's get to the total. Total crypto market cap. Look, tried to break out. Again, I popped up the 200-week moving average. But check out what the software is telling us, showing us right now. Kicking out an odd, this is a strange position for a bat pattern, but software is kicking out the bat pattern. I'm going to look at 950 billion. If this can't progress in the next, I don't know, 24 hours, yeah, expect a pullback. That this, now what I want to see is, here's the daily. Here's total crypto. Okay, it's a deep crab pattern. Take note of the downtrend off the all-time high. Trying to break out above that. I think if we encompass this peak and that peak, you know, where we are currently, where maybe next month we start to crack this in terms of time, could be an early development. Remember, we had a reaction, a couple things that I found interesting looking with this 200 week. The 200 week average for the total crypto market cap came in right where the deep crab completed. And then we had a thrust up ABCD back in the zone. This little bearish ABCD who said, okay, more time, go back and retest the zone and retest the 200 week. Most people are going to be looking at the 200 week. We're not. We're looking at the patterns, but real nice when it comes together like that. And so that not only increases the importance of the structure, but we can move the stops because most people are going to follow this trajectory of that 200 week. And if it's going to really fall out of bed, it does so under these lows. There's a whole nother segment. And again, I think a few people have asked me, like, what about Bitcoin 11,000? What about the larger scenario? And I say, yeah, but after this immediate consolidation with all these patterns that formed way back in June and July, yeah, we could get that after a while. We see that with Bitcoin where it's trying to form bullish patterns, but just wants to go sideways. We'll know if we can't get out of that downtrend. We're right there at another test right now. So we're looking for early signs. Looking for, you know, at least with this massive downtrend with the retest of the pattern, there are things there. Be better than not having patterns there. Evan saying you're in Filecoin from the shark. What did that do? So you guys had got me to look at that. Evan's saying he's looked at that. Like I said, I think there's much better crypto than Filecoin, but all right. Yeah, Filecoin. This was the one we talked about. This is another. Is that starting to move? I think that started to move last 2-3 sessions. I think Claire was the one that brought that up. And initially I was like, yeah, skeptical. You know, Filecoin, I think that's a total T coin, S coin, altcoin. But it is back-to-back patterns. You have confirmation. Look at just the last few days. The bat pattern, amazing. Look, the software generates the sun icon there, but the arrow comes there. That's where the entry we talked about, around 495, $5. Hasn't done much. But it's a beautiful back-to-back pattern, and hey, If that exploded up to 724 off of this, don't be surprised. As a type 1 reaction, does it mean anything? No, it's just a reaction. But that's how we would read it. Let's, again, with this, something like this, with this Filecoin, it has to go up day over day. If it rolls over, starts coming back, you scratch out. Keep an eye on that one. Oh, the other one, look, here is the total 3 index. Because that too, we look in that in DeFi with the patterns they have in their indices. They made progress in recent sessions since Monday, Tuesday, especially. That excludes, there's the total 3 without Ethereum and Bitcoin. Okay. And we have a pattern, we have a couple patterns, but big crab pattern, then followed by a small bat, which basically said, take more time going sideways into the zone. Now we have another HSI on the total 3. Making progress. That's, look, let me blow it up so everyone can see. Look, you're in a bullish zone and you got that trigger last week, checked back, and plus 2 bars. 1, 2, now you go. But would have to get above these obvious highs. You need to see some fireworks. If this is really going to do anything, you need to blast off now. Otherwise, 1 bar, 2 bars rolling over would pretty much kill it. And same with the DeFi. Okay, DeFi's been nicer, real great patterns. I mean, lots of back-to-back. The shark here on the total DeFi, that should at least get to a target 1. Even forget the larger range. I mean, you've got a pattern, you've got confirmation, and target 1 is around 50 billion, and your 200-week average is right there about 48. So, look, crypto, if it goes sideways, wouldn't be surprised. At least that bump in Ethereum, I think that was everything. We were talking about that pattern, and we'll come back. Let's see how Ethereum plays out. We know where the other indices are. They're taking their time. Some of them have great back-to-back situations. But again, I think it's going to take time with all of those. Let's go over really quick to the diamonds. Dow diamonds, and jump over to the macro. You know what? Let's go with the eSignal platform because I think that's better. The Dow diamonds, among other ETFs that did the 2 of 2, we have a secondary retest. That's so far so good. Dow's up 400 today. Meanwhile, as Nasdaq's down, S&P's minus 10. Dow now 295. Nasdaq off to 195, and S&P down 11. But look at let's go to the daily, and we're at a critical point. And I bring up the diamonds first. Again, trying to look at the macro. What's our potential here? Because we do have 2 patterns in the diamonds. Industrials are holding up a lot better than Nasdaq for sure. But you're at target 1 of the butterfly. So we've talked about this crab doing the reaction. And then on the retest, it gave us a butterfly. So now, okay, let's do another reaction. Are we going to come back one more time? That's what I want to see. HSI is overbought, but still up there. Maybe by tomorrow. Maybe by Monday. We roll over. So we could get follow through into tomorrow. This is an amazing, here are the two comparisons, the 2 almost opposing companies in the Dow. Let's look at McDonald's long-term chart. Okay. Up today. Oh, let me go back here. Up today, and guess what? That 270, That's an all-time high. Okay, this thing is a scratch off of its all-time high despite everything. What do we have up here? Let's go to monthly or even a quarterly chart. Long term. McDonald's way up there. I wouldn't touch it. I don't know if I would even invest in McDonald's on principle, even though it's probably one of the strongest stocks in the market. That's remarkably strong in light of what's happened this year. Okay, that's quarterly versus Microsoft. And this will really tell. Okay. Two different stories, two different stocks showing you, you know, really where the damage is. Here's Microsoft on the daily. Again, I want to get right into this because I was looking at this yesterday as an opportunity to at least come back and go to target one off of the crab, not just the eight. We have two patterns here, A, B, C, D. It is a 2 of 2, but it failed. And the close yesterday was really disappointing. I was looking for at least any kind of bullish candle yesterday that would have set this off, and they just slammed it down. So I scratched out a lot of that. I'm still holding on to calls that are out about 6 weeks, but I don't think that's going to work out. I think if this most recent HSI that registered, okay, we didn't have that yesterday. That just registered on the close that was like a real slumping close. So I kind of jumped the gun on that. It's definitely nice setup. I mean, it's Microsoft getting crushed. You're at a 2 of 2. There's the confirmation. I was looking at yesterday at this level around 233, 234 as kind of a check back of that HSI, but we registered, here's the indicator. HSI registered on the overbought coming out of the zone. And it looked like that was going to expand up where we could go higher. Didn't happen. We don't notice also we don't have the other readings, so it's not a confirmed signal with HSI. Typically we want at least amplified, but I just decided to scratch. Didn't like it. It really got slammed. I posted that, and like 2 hours later, the thing just started to roll over in a bad way and registering that HSI. Those kind of in between situations for me are difficult. And, I'm cleared out around where we are now yesterday and this morning, 227 area. So we will come back to this. I'm not going to take my eye off of it. I just think it's probably going to come back to the hop at 221 again. Now, another tech that's gotten crushed, and we've talked about this long time, is Meta, and it hit the hop. What do you do? Meta is hit 97 and change this morning. Our hop level on the weekly was 97.90. On the daily, we said 116. Okay, those were the two possibilities. Well, here they are. Here they are. Here's on the weekly. Sorry, that's bi-weekly. Here's weekly. And I think that's probably the better one. We're already, way back when we talked about what if. What if we were talking about it at 240? What if Meta was to retest its COVID low? Well, you're under it now. And you're back at that hop level, this is it. I mean, 97.90. If that's not an exhaustive bottom, then you have the whole history of Facebook to deal with. And it kind of reminds me of Netflix, although Netflix has bounced recently. We talked about Netflix on Tuesday. I'll look at Netflix in a minute, but again, I still think that's it. That's your spread of ratios on Meta, that if it can't hold 100 and the larger market continues to break down, you go to 60, you go down another 50%. Because a lot of these have set up where they're scraping massive weekly patterns. Here's another one, SAP. Big software name. Look at this one has held. Okay, this is a tough one. This is where I'm trying to sort out these big weekly opportunities that have done stuff like that. You see things like Microsoft. What the heck is that doing? Up, almost breaking up the new highs. So maybe this is mostly a tech issue where other areas are relatively affected by association. But SAP, there's one that's held, that's done quite well. Or here's another one, CRM, Salesforce. On this is daily. I think this is a crab pattern down here. Oh, hold on one second. Would help if I hit that. Yeah. Sorry. Wait, Salesforce. No, it wasn't Salesforce. My fault. No, I actually think it's Qualcomm. Yeah, Qualcomm. Another weekly. What are we going to do with these tech stocks like this? This is it's a challenging point. You're in October, end of the month, trying to get out of this. One of the worst years in my career, no doubt. One of the worst statistical market performance years I've ever been through. I wasn't around in 74, but 2002, 2008, they were brutal. This is as bad. But what is this? Qualcomm at a weekly type 2? Is that an opportunity, or is this going to be a failure? We need confirmation down here, but I'm starting to look at the hop level on all of these. Okay, it is the overspill, hop, harmonic optimal price. That's kind of the secondary level beyond the pattern zone. That's the true make or break. What's it doing? What's Qualcomm doing here at this hop level at 112? Can it hold it and then maybe at least react back in the pattern zone? Need some confirmation. It's no confirmation there yet, but does have a nice zone. The other one we mentioned was Micron. Again, a lot of the chip stocks, a lot of the here you go. So Micron's now coming back for its 2 of 2. But this is back-to-back patterns, and this would be it. This would be, you come back, you're in the zone at what, 53 now? So by definition, did we hit that this morning? This is one we've been following for a while. We're almost there. Looking for this because you got a secondary pattern, come back, hit the zone, and then go like that. But HSI, nowhere to be found. Not yet. Not yet. Here's another one, big one. Chip space, AMD. I mean, you look at these semis, you look at the other tech. Look at AMD. This is weekly. Okay, BAT just completed 2 weeks ago. Really, third week after the fact. Are we close? I don't know why HSI is doing that to me. Hold on, been having an issue on the e-signal thing. I don't know why the data is skewing e-signal. It shouldn't be doing that where it goes flatline like that. It's not right. There, it doesn't even come up at all. Hold on. Let me see what the daily HSI is saying. Oh, come on. 1 second, folks. I don't have anything on HSI because it's not coming up. It's really frustrating. Let's see the 2-day. Let me change screens. I'm going to bring up a different chart screen. Hold on. There you go. Let me bring up this. This might have the right settings. AMD. I don't know why that's flatlining. All right, let me go to the SMH because that's probably the most important of all. Semiconductor index. There you go. Butterfly. And you had HSI last week. Take a look. We know the pattern completed a month ago. Right back here at 185, but 1, 2, 3, fourth week. Confirmation's there. No check back, so you're probably, I think, still early, but you're more focused on what's it doing at 185? What's it going to do by the close tomorrow? Can that give you at least one bullish close? If so, this would be a type 1. And again, with a lot of these trying to set up like that, you're looking for minimum type 1 reactions with these lows. Remember the big day down 2 weeks ago? That pretty much has to be the low. That has to be the October low. So if you're not going to hold that October low, you're probably really dead into the end of the year. You know, that's why the Meta thing is pretty urgent, or Microsoft going to need more time. But you have a lot of these patterns here. Market is just kind of vacillating where it started. Nasdaq's down 150. S&P basically where it started, where we started 45 minutes ago, off 10, and Dow's up 300. Let's give away another book. This time, the first person to type in V2. V2, I'll send you a volume 2, Harmonic Trader volume 2. You guys paying attention? V2, folks. Let's see who gets it first. Yeah, I'll look at the socks. Ronnie's asking about the socks while we wait for V2. Andy G, you win. V2. Got to listen, folks. I said I was going to give away some volume 2s today. Let's look at the socks. Good old socks. And remember, check out the socks. Same deal. SMH has got the same thing. I remember this was trading 250 back in 87. Amazing. But it's a type 2. Interestingly enough, the sock setup is a type 2. Off a butterfly off the top. Here's the interesting thing about this pattern and the potential for this pattern. If this is going to be a valid butterfly, okay? The reason why is that you have an A to B, C to D right off the top. So if this is going to be it, 2200, basically your floor on the socks, it's because this whole correction is, and it's significant, but it's an ABCD right off the top, which potentially could be a good continuation sign, but there's no confirmation yet. HSI hasn't triggered yet. Well, I'm really looking hard. And there's other things that are setting up where if they get to that spot, you would take action. Like, you know, the Meta thing. Meta's at the hop. It's now 65, 70% off its highs. But now, look, you got to be patient with this stuff. These type 2s always, they take more time. Let's really quick look at S&P because that is the strongest market of all. The S&P futures, there's several things going. You had a weekly HSI just last week, but no check back. So maybe it needs more time. Look at the daily. Here's the daily. Back to back, several patterns, but you're at this type 1 move, back down type 2. Let me remove the bearish pattern. Let's just take that off. Let's just look at the crab because that's been what we've been targeting, you know, for the summer. Come back and retest. And the fact that, you know, look, we hit 35.46 and was just violently rejected. That also included an HSI that was retested. that makes this the start of that has to be something significant. That has to be something that takes you to target 2, 42.78. That's the type 2 objective. I will look at target 1 at 40.60 first, just because we've got so many blowups going on. 40.60, but that should get to 40.60 even in a reactive move. So keep your eye on S&P, keep your eye on Facebook, keep your eye on a lot of these. The diamonds as well. I think the diamonds, if this market's going to do something, the diamonds are going to continue higher. And I mean, get well above, say, 32.5, get above 33,000, and really take it higher. Otherwise, these other markets, I just don't see them leading in any capacity, especially since they've already been hit. I'll go back to the diamonds. Again, you've got back-to-back patterns across the board. And this little thing. I was even saying on Tuesday, we need a big candle like this. That's what I'm looking for, is a big candle that would look like that. Yeah. Hold on. There you go. And we've got this gap up. So I drew this yesterday. Okay, I just changed the color though. And I was saying, look, if we get a big candle like that, that's pretty crazy. It's like 1,000-point candle. But if we can blow through this target 2 level, that's about the only way this thing continues higher. Okay, we could come up here, but again, this is why it's so critical. 322, 322.62 to be exact. If that can't get through there and it rolls back over, I mean, you're probably one negative close away. That would kick it back into, then don't expect much more off of this. That's the problem with it. It's been strong, impressive 10 days, but are we going to follow through above the pattern limits? Not with today's bearish close, even with it up 300 right now. Look, we hit the level and then we came off. If you were in that position originally, okay, you're looking for the first bearish candle. When you get to the first, look, we get to the first target. That is our objective on the first test, first target. But then you ride it. Do you have HSI? Do you have one bearish candle? Have you broken the uptrend? No, across the board. So you're still in that. This is still valid as a reaction, but the second this thing does this over the next 2 or 3 sessions, okay, you're done. You're done. And if in doubt, scratch it out, take a break. Because I don't, again, part of me is thinking that this current environment with things, I need to do a quick update on the interest rate chart, because that's starting to do things as well. And we'll come in here. That might be on Monday. We might be in a totally different situation. Here, let's quickly jump over. What's been the problem with this market? Interest rates. What have we been waiting for? 2-year, 10-year. Roll over, sit down, and, STFU. Do this. Remember this? Sorry, let's go to the 10-year. The 10-year has the pattern on the weekly. So there it is. So now we have the bar. First bearish candle in 12 weeks. And then we have a bearish HSI. I mentioned this maybe last week, that the second this pauses sideways, corrective move back to the hop at 366, that's where this is going, that will help the markets tremendously. So even a 1 bar, a 3 bar, 3-week pause is going to help the markets. We've got these shifting things all going on same time, hitting patterns, stocks hitting, retesting 2 of 2 patterns, overextended, interest rate market interest rate chart well above 366, but okay, we knew it was a crazy move. We've been waiting for the first HSI. There's the pattern completion. That was April. But okay, 6 months later, we finally get confirmation. I'm paying attention here, not here. And to where? Well, again, come back to the hop first step. Maybe even back into the zone a little bit. But that's easily 30 basis lower than where we are. You get to 366, you're 396 at the moment. It's at least rolling over, and look at the weekly for now. What you really want to see is a close. You're not there yet, but close under 391. Let's say we close by Friday, by tomorrow afternoon, 390 would be great. 389 would be beautiful. But you're looking for this to be the inflection for now, at least to end one of the strongest rate rises we've seen in over a 3-month period. Bar none. I mean, that's just an amazing run. Straight up. Gotta focus on that. That's the 10-year yield. If you're not looking at that chart, please take a peek a couple times a week. 2-year yield, which is even higher, and yes, it's still inverted. The 10-year is 395. The 2-year is 434, 435. That's amazing. But you do have an HSI triggered on the weekly. And this one did have a bearish candle last week. And now we're going to follow up with a downside reversal. That's an ideal reversal action right here with HSI coming in. That's what makes this 1, 2, 3 candle. I mean, you could say, it's not quite a doji, not quite a shooting star, spinning top. But I'm just more focused on clear out the prior week's low, close under the prior week's low, and the further under the prior week's low and that low under 426 you get, the stronger the pause scenario will unfold, at least for 2 or 3 more weeks, much like you did back here. Even it again, there's the last couple. Even in the strongest of scenarios, you check back, you pause before you do anything major. Again, even before this crazy move, those last 2 signals resulted in a 2-week pause, and that's how tight I'm taking all of this. I'm going to go week over week on all of this until it clear reversals take shape, or we bust through support. Like, let's say we bust through support. Let's say the elections in the United States in 2 weeks are not what people planned, and that leads to a breakdown on NASDAQ support, or the Dow Diamonds roll over. I mean, that's because that's where we are. And the other thing about it is we're going to get into, we're 30 days away. So here's something to think about also. The whole 30-day wash sale rule, one of the craziest, most disappointing. I don't want to get into it. I hate the wash sale rule. I think it's a total scam for individual traders. But listen, we are 30 days away, starting on really Tuesday. If you want to get out of losing positions and then get back into them, so you have some tax loss considerations that start literally for the end of the year. The tax loss considerations start on Tuesday. Think about it. Think about that. So there's going to be, I don't think there's going to be explosive moves, but I think there's going to be a lot of volatility up and down, where I think we're going to take more time to hammer out all these relative zones that we're hitting now. If it's Facebook at 97, plan for that to bounce between 100, probably 95 and 110 for a while. Or if it's Microsoft, plan on that for bounce between 220 and 240. Things like that, where they're going to take more time. But for now, yeah, we should see some up and down volatility. And people will take profits in this interest rate move. People will secure these rates where they are into the end of the year. Keep an eye on it. So there's a quick question. Do I think all these worldly events that are happening all the same time of the harmonic phenomenon are based off of natural harmonics or self-fulfilled prophecies? You mean all of the like the bullish patterns? Like we've got crazy times, yet we've got bullish patterns. If we're looking at the diamonds, which, by far, look, that's it's had a number of nice patterns. Basically the 290 area for the diamonds, pretty strong. Here's the diamonds chart. Again, here's the Dow diamonds just this year. Okay, and I took off the bearish patterns, but those two bullish patterns, it's no coincidence. It's not like I know a lot of people say, well, if more people know about the patterns, won't they respond appropriately off of the levels? Hell no. Most traders do not respond properly, period. And most traders do not know the harmonic patterns. Hey, harmonic patterns are popular, but do people know them? No. And everyone that's in here that comes to the sessions, basic members that are learning it, you folks know more than the rest of the industry combined. It's even the M and W framework, those that can recognize the difference between a bat and a Gartley or a crab and a butterfly. You know more about market structure than probably 80% of the guys sitting on the street today. And that's no joke. So it's not a self-fulfilling. People are not following these patterns. Look, proportionally, the patterns are developing. They are, I feel, they are specific types of cycles. That's how I feel like it's a collection of buying and selling that formulates structures that define certain types of cycles, a buying cycle, a selling cycle, things like that, because we get bearish patterns too. And the whole reaction reversal framework as well. Understanding that even if we get something like a 1618 sell-off, the market declines to a measurable 1.618. I think that's pretty easy for most people to measure this segment, and then it goes down, and it gets to a 1618. We start looking, and oh, by the way, it has the other features we need to define it that this is more than just a simple extension down. Pretty tough for the collective crew to consciously be responding and knowing how to trade to form the pattern. I mean, it happens that way. It's the 1618 is a natural growth cycle inflection point. That is something to consider, that we do see unique natural phenomenon. It's the 1618 is a really powerful number, especially in the right instances. But then you combine it with what we do, which is confirmation and then structural recognition of reaction, and then come back for the return retest, for then the reversal, that comes from the decades of staring at patterns to recognize, at least from my perspective, not only the differences between crab and butterfly, but hey, if you got the pattern right, they still go through the 1-2 dance, if you will. A lot of it's related to the primary numbers, the 618 and 1618, the 1618 probably being the easiest to understand of all of them. But this isn't consciously painted. These are the cycles that present themselves. Much like, how does Meta do this? How does Meta form a pattern like this, get crunched, hit the hop at 97.90, and that's the low this morning. Not to say that this thing can't go lower. Okay, look at the intraday chart. There you go. 97.90 was the hop. 97.50 is the low. How does that happen? It's just a type of cycle. It's the cycle. It's the harmonic pattern cycles that I've presented in my books that differentiate those. That's how they work, because structurally, when you have the combinations of the M and W formations, this is how the zones are painted. The hop level, harmonic optimal price, that's our overspill level. That's something, even since failing at 160. We looked at it here, but it failed right there under 160. We said, I think we were looking at 116 first with the weekly chart 97.90. So you're there. But that's when you look at M and W formations, that's how we're able to make those assertions. That's it. So I'm going to focus on those. I'm going to see what happens because we're down here really hitting some levels that have my attention. Market action in the tape looks terrible. I mean, it just is garbage. But we might be in one of those spots where it's a hold your nose, wade through it until it can kind of stabilize out. And we know it's either here. The whole market is either you hold here or you go back and retest COVID lows. A lot of individual stocks have already done that. The major markets are only waiting for Apple and Microsoft. And Microsoft started, it looks like, to do its march down. Apple's coming up on earnings. And look, Apple's it's got the same deal. Apple's got back-to-back patterns, and it's on its way back down now. I would expect Apple to drop. And I think if the market action gets ugly, okay, it's going to be because of this. And Apple, if we're looking at it 2 of 2, which it is a deep crab at 131, came up, reaction back down. Now it did the mini reaction. We got HSI yesterday. Look for this to come back down. 134.40 at the 886 for Apple. So I'm not looking for the bigger opportunity, even though I was a big believer in Apple. It's not until we have one more retest and it's back down in this range, 131. We really need that test. We need to retest that pattern. So Apple's not quite in the position just yet. We'll see by next week. One of those earnings. I know this pretty soon. I'm going to bring up, this is the thing about TradingView that's great. Yeah, earnings are October 27. October 27. 130 and change. 135, ballpark it. You're still 10 lower until that can complete right there. And those big stocks, I said before, they have to come together for the markets to turn around. If they're going to keep going down, if Apple isn't going to hold like 120, that's where the larger meltdown, the second half begins. That's really where we're at. And again, until we get there, we're going to bounce and be range bound with a lot of these stocks that have formed lows. They're trying to base out. Still going to, every little reaction up is going to probably get smacked back down and require at least a secondary retest with confirmation. I mean, come in here. Where's the last HSI? It's here, 148, 150, and it's bearish. And it's just coming out of the zone now. It's not a long position. That is in an accelerated return, come back down, and then maybe back down here. Maybe at the hop at 122. It seemed crazy with Meta, but we got there. Apple wouldn't, maybe not in one drop, but until we get back down to a minimum 134 at the 886, we're not doing anything there. After the bell, yeah, okay. Tonight, okay. I would, I'm not playing this at all. I'm not playing that at all. Although I think that's probably a short, 150 area, 150 calls, 150 puts. Keep an eye on it, and maybe comes back and retests, one more time to get the 2 of 2 and then down. That's how choppy this market's been. That one's not clear. That one is not the same as like let me wrap up with this one. Here's Uber. So Uber's been, that was one we were on and it did the big drop. Check out Uber here on the daily. Oh, sorry. Let's look at the bullish pattern. Almost got down to 2261, and it's still not there yet. Here's the bearish. Yeah, there you go. All right, so now let me just show the bearish setup, because now we're back there retesting the bearish, trying to come back, basically squeezed. And Uber coming back 31 or so is the retest of the shark and the crab. Let me clean it up. There's too many patterns there. Really just the shark. Sorry, just the crab. I'll remove the shark. So keep an eye on that. And again, this is I would love Uber back down at 22 as kind of a final test off the big daily pattern or weekly pattern. Amazing. That deep crab. There you go. One or two more. Here's Airbnb. I think this is a daily. Let me check my thing here. Hold on. Yeah, I have an ABCD on Airbnb right at 103. And this one did register at the beginning of the month in October. Little follow through. Still taking its time. But I'm looking at is another one with massive pattern right off. It's an all-time ABCD right off the top. And that's some nice structure, but where are the triggers? Is this continuing? Because we're here, hop level's 103.35. So if you get another shot at that, that's the larger target area. And this is swing trade positioning, but we're still looking for target one. Does this bottom out? We come back down towards the end of the year, tax loss selling. A lot of these, as I said, Microsoft. Now Meta's going to have to scrape its hop level. And these are still doing this too. Look, we have challenges. These are downtrend challenges. You're staring at beautiful bullish patterns at the lows. This is the toughest part of the harmonic pattern process. Breaking out of these constraints and getting some development. There's plenty of time. And I'm continuing to line up, I don't know, half a dozen or more that I've showed today for long-term swing opportunities. But larger market's not there yet. Larger market's not there yet. It's not, here's the other one that I forgot to mention is Amazon too. Okay, Amazon. Look, another bat pattern. Check this out. Look at all these back-to-back patterns. It's pretty ridiculous, but Amazon, I meant to mention this beginning of the week. It's another one. Come back for type 2. And that's where I'll look at this. 106. 106 is that's the mandatory minimum. And what if their earnings? Aren't they tonight? Aren't they tonight, folks? I think they're tonight. Look, there's a lot going on. Let's get through this week. And I've been saying this, look, market lows are confirmed in November. And if we don't confirm the low, there'll be plenty of time. That's how I feel. There's no need to jump in majorly on any long side yet. And on the short side, listen, I'm looking at energy as a potential short. You're back up there. ExxonMobil, XLE, a lot of them are hitting, but probably not till next week. So we'll wait till Monday on that. We'll come back on Monday, folks. Listen, one more person. Who's still here? Next person to type in V2. Give away the last book for the day, Volume 2. And while I'm waiting on that, you must contact Miss Stephanie in the Discord. Also, folks, go over to Harmonic Trader, please. Get with the software, everyone. That's the place to start. That's why you need it. Even for the new people, go to the basic members section and get with the TradingView platform. Everyone should be with the TradingView platform. Chris Tolman, you win V2. Congratulations. Contact Miss Stephanie, please. And for those that are trading currencies, we didn't even get into that, but I'll get into that Monday. Get with the MetaTrader. Go try the MetaTrader product. You're going to find amazing patterns for your currency trading. I'm not doing too much currency trading these days, but I know there's a lot of currency traders out there. Get with the MetaTrader product. So come on back on Monday, folks, 12 noon. We're gonna finish all this stuff up, and we're gonna get through this no matter what. So until then, have a great weekend. As always, go get them. We'll see you back on Monday, 12 noon Eastern. Thanks again. Congratulations, winners. Take care.